Welcome to Therapy Unlocked, where we discuss all things therapy from an unlocked perspective. I'm Emily Huffman, and I'm here with Katrina.
Hello, Katrina Mondragon, licensed professional counselor. All right, so like I said, I am a professional, but not your professional, so nothing we're going to talk about today should be taken as medical, legal, or otherwise advice. This podcast is purely for education and amusement. That is it. That's the disclaimer.
Education, amusement, and because I would like to be famous. So please like, subscribe, follow, engage, hate on us, join the conversation, find us on YouTube, find us on Instagram, find us anywhere where you listen to podcasts, because I love a creeper and I love a hater and I love a lover. So if you like the podcast, if you dislike the podcast, I'd like to hear from you. No, food is good. Food is a good one. Food is a good bare minimum. 10 out of 10. Lip gloss is good too, though, guys. I mean, go with cats. Y'all listen to her. She is the licensed professional. I am the personality hire. Okay.
Have you ever heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Yes. Actually, it's on the fridge.
Cool.
Speaking of things I ignore.
I like to clarify, it's not like evidence-based, but it is super relatable to say that like safety is our base need. And once we're safe, we have food, shelter, water. Like those are the baseline things. So on a survival day, you would want to make sure that you have a roof over your head, water in your body, and food to eat. That would be like survival. Next step up from Maslow's, darn, I'm blanking on what's next. But I want to say it's like something psychological, maybe love and belonging, or maybe that's the next tier up. Anyway, what's your next question?
So wait, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is not evidence-based. Let's go back to that. I want to jump back for a second on that.
I don't think so.
No idea. I had no idea.
I don't think it's been tested. That's all that means, is that it's been tested and retested and replicated. And oftentimes things like that, a theory like that, is not necessarily replicatable. Something like solution-focused brief therapy. That's one I'm a big fan of. I do it in my practice, where you're looking at solution finding rather than problem solving. So in that one, they took a lot of studies, and they did the studies, and then they did them again and again and again, and they replicated the results, and that makes it evidence-based. So not all evidence-based things are bad, but not all things that we talk about are evidence-based.
Okay, so I just pulled it here because I was interested, and we've got the bottom, we've got physiological at the base. So that's your breathing, food, water, sex, sleep, homeostasis, excretion, and then it comes up to safety, and that's actually the second tier. And you've got security of body, employment, resources, morality, the family, health, and property. And then your next one up is your love and belonging. So you were right on that one, which was your friendship, family, and your sexual intimacy. And then esteem, self-esteem, confidence, achievement, respect of others, and respect by others.
I remember the last one, self-actualization. That's like Mother Teresa, MLK.
Yep. Morality, creativity, spontaneity, problem solving. Yep. Lack of prejudice and acceptance of facts. And so all of that is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I'm sure we can find some way to link that.
We can put a link in the description.
Absolutely. But that is the motivational theory that organizes human needs into 5 categories. And yeah, I have heard of that. I've got that on a magnet. You know what other one I love so much is HALT. And that's that hungry, angry, lonely, tired. I default to that more often than I can default to the hierarchy of needs, because like we just did, we know it. I know it. You know it. It makes so much sense. You need to have each of those building blocks coming on up to have everything that you need. It makes so much sense as to what a person needs coming up through those things. You need the physiological things going all the way up through all of those things you need in your body. But when you're in it, when you need those coping mechanisms, are you hungry? What you said a few minutes ago. Are you hungry? Okay. Are you angry? Are you lonely? Are you tired? You know, those are such valid halt. Do you need that stuff? I think I learned that in a recovery room. I'm not in recovery, but I sure do love a lot of people in recovery, and I've been in and out of those rooms.
I learned that in therapy school, like the halt thing, and I actually learned it for more of eating. So when people go to open the fridge door, when you open the fridge door, before you even open the door, halt and ask yourself, am I really hungry? Am I angry, lonely, tired, or, and I tack on, bored? Because if you're bored, go find something to do.
Yeah. I think I heard it in, I mean, that's really good for that. And I could see where that would be really good for like any kind of like eating focused recovery or anything along those lines. I think any kind of recovery that halt would apply where, you know, before you use, you should halt. And that's the context that I heard it in. The context that I use it in is before I crash out, why don't I halt? Like, before I go and scream at someone, before I go and cry or send that text message, send that email, do those things, let me halt. Am I hungry, angry, lonely, tired? And generally I am. Generally I am all those things. Let's talk about things that shouldn't help, but they totally do.
You
got any of those?
Things that shouldn't help, but they do.
Mm-hmm.
Like an ice bath, jumping in an ice cold pool, changing the shower to cold at the end of it. Like, it's weird that it works, but something about coldness and cold water really changes the autonomic nervous system. And so I think that's weird that it works.
Activating the autonomic nervous system is a really great workaround. It's a really good hack because the autonomic nervous system affects everything in your body. I know because I have a disorder of my autonomic nervous system. So it affects my emotions as well as just literally everything else, like in general. But you can hack your autonomic nervous system with ice baths, changing the water cold. You might not know this, but you can hack your autonomic nervous system by standing up and sitting down as many times as it takes. If you stand up and sit down rapidly, you will activate your autonomic nervous system.
Oh, I know how to make myself have a panic attack. If you make yourself hyperventilate into a panic attack, then you can make yourself not have a panic attack. Like, I don't know if you know that, that's kind of a weird thing, but if you can make yourself have a panic attack, you can make yourself not have a panic attack. And what I mean by that is convincing ourselves that we're not able to breathe. We're not dying. If I am thinking I can't breathe and then I sing a song, I'm obviously breathing. If I think I'm going to die and then run up a flight of stairs, my body's obviously not dead. So it's like testing the theory of what the brain is saying with what the body can do.
Interesting. I see that. My thing that shouldn't help, but totally does, if I'm like mid panic attack or just bottom of the barrel, you would think I would not be able to do, but I can put on a full musical performance. I could turn on Hamilton. I could turn on Hairspray, and it's like muscle memory. Like I grew up doing, the musical theater stuff, and I can turn it on, and it's like the show must go on, literally in my brain.
What is that one song? Lights, camera, bitch, smile.
Yeah, that song. I just Taylor Swift was watching, and she was like, "Yep, the show must go on. I can do it with a broken heart every time." So I got to ask you, in your capacity as our licensed professional here on Therapy Unlocked, why are all of these small comforts so important to us?
Why are they so important to us?
What is it about the little things?
Oh, the little things. Well, I think the little things help us get through the day. And the little things are like sand. If you take a little piece of sand and you put it in a bucket, it's not going to be a whole lot. But if you take a handful of sand, all those little grains of sand are the small things that we enjoy. You're building a life worth living. Those little roses might just be little fucking roses, but that is one of my sand or handfuls of sand, really, because that gives me something to focus on. I've got to learn how to make banana water, which, by the way, is a weird new thing for me, nurturing life indoors. I have the outdoor garden, but this is my first indoor garden.
And it's gorgeous and I love it. And if you guys check out our shorts, you can see the addition to what is behind her in this video.
The sunflower is courtesy of my niece.
And it's pretty adorable. And the banana water, I think you should make a short on that because that's pretty cool. The next time you make it, I'd never heard of banana water. And it's how she is nourishing her roses behind her, and they're gorgeous.
So the miracle girl comes in.
The little things being the sand. The sand is what makes up the beach. The sand is what makes up the reality of the world that we're living in. So those small things are what compiles together to make the overall picture. There's a TikTok trend going on right now that is like, I almost forgot that this was the whole point. And a few people I've seen kind of are ribbing on that because I think primarily because it's the extra wealthy have kind of been using that trend a lot. And they're like, I almost forgot this is the whole point. And they're showing like their mansion. But I think the really sweet ones that I've seen is like, you know, a mother holding their child's foot or something. And they're like, oh, I almost forgot that this was the whole point. And I think that, yeah, the small comforts, you know, I almost forgot that this was the whole point. I think when you are faced with the reality of maybe saying goodbye to life at some point in time or something along those lines, I think that will end up being the whole point. It's probably those small things. You know?
Have you ever heard that song by, I think it was Julie Andrews, and I'm not a singer, but she's like, raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens.
Yep. Yeah. No, for sure. That's exactly what comes to mind. That general idea of those little things. Yes. These are a few of my favorite things.
I almost didn't catch the ball that time. I don't juggle, for the record. I don't know how to juggle. I just use the stress ball as a stress ball.
We used to have almost a reputation for that. Do you remember that in high school? Because we could throw anything across any room and catch it. We barely even had to be looking at each other because we would so frequently throw stuff across our room at each other that, like, in the theater room, in the classroom, in the hallways, I could say, hey, and toss something, or maybe even not say anything and just toss something. And we would catch it. That was a delight. And you still have that skill. I bet you I wouldn't, though. I bet you if you threw something at me, I'd probably just hit the side of my head.
My hand-eye coordination has reduced in the last 20 years.
I think it fell out with the kids, honestly. It was just like each kid, I lost a little more coordination. And now I can't walk on a flat surface without falling over my own feet. So what would you say to a client who felt silly for needing a weird coping mechanism?
That being normal is not necessarily a virtue. It rather denotes a lack of courage.
Practical Magic.
Yes, that is a quote from Practical Magic. And that is a great response to that, because I think there's a TikTok even, or a Reels, or a short, I don't know what they're all called, but where this lady says, say the weird thing. And then people cut and say something weird. Yeah. Do the weird coping skill.
The weird thing. Do the weird coping skill. As long as you are not hurting anyone, if it makes you feel better, it's worth it.
There's even a song. Isn't there a song that says if it makes you happy, it can't be that bad?
If it makes you happy, yeah, it can't be that bad.
Sheryl Crow, right?
Sheryl Crow. If it makes you happy, it can't be that bad. Yeah, absolutely. So joy as resistance. Moments of rebellion against burnout, against pressure, against survival fatigue is what I think probably the be all end all. I think that everybody should take the time to feel good, to exist, to feel good things. If it makes you happy, it can't be that bad. So yeah, I think joy, damage, dolls, grab beverages. That would be my takeaway from today. What do you think, Kat?
Yeah, beverages, gardening of any variety, the actual gardening or the gardening that they do on TikTok. Take your pick.
We all support gardening. We should garden.
I do not pathologize gardening. If you come to my practice, I will not pathologize gardening. But if you have a problem with gardening, we can absolutely help you find the assistance to reduce that.
Or someone else to talk to. That's fine too.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. It's all good. All right. Thanks for joining us today on Therapy Unlocked. Please come and see us next time when we discuss, I don't know what, but we'll figure it out. We're here unlocking the mind one conversation at a time. Come and connect with us on Instagram, YouTube. Listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts, and we'll catch you next time.
Later.